guys, welcome back to Living Lightly. So glad that you've made it to this video. If you're not already, subscribe down below, click that notification bell, it'll tell you when we release new content. So today we are going to be talking about lower back pain. So many people suffer from lower back pain, and actually it's the second most popular cause or second most frequent cause, I don't know however you want to say that, for missing work next to the common cold. So this is common across, at least I know in the United States. So we're going to be talking about 5 ways that we can reduce lower back pain from home. Let's get to it. Alright, first and foremost, I am not a doctor. I don't know your situation, your specific back pain. So if you need a formal diagnosis or a specific treatment, I recommend going to your doctor, your chiropractor, physician, whoever it is you go to. Today we're going to be talking about some things that you can do at home that may help alleviate that back pain. Of course, don't do anything that may hurt your back even more, especially if you're in extreme pain. Go to your doctor first, talk about treatment. This is just for your everyday back pain, and we're going to talk about how you may alleviate that pain. So we've got 5 things that we can do at home that may help with our back pain. Alright, number 1, we can reduce inflammation. So there's a couple ways that we can reduce inflammation. One of the ways, we can take some kind of anti-inflammatory over-the-counter drug like Advil, Tylenol, ibuprofen, whatever it is. It's just going to help with our overall inflammation. That may help with your pain. Number 2, a way to reduce inflammation is to cut back on foods that are known to be inflammatory foods. So that includes sugar, alcohol, and some nightshades. If you don't know what nightshades are, that falls into the group of tomatoes, peppers, white potatoes. You can go do a quick Google search for more information on nightshades, but those, usually sugar, alcohol, and nightshades are some of the things that can cause an inflammatory response in our body. And of course, if you are allergic to anything, you want to avoid those foods to help you reduce inflammation. A third way to reduce inflammation in the body is to ice. Ice whatever it is that's hurting, right? So to ice your back, you want to use either a gel ice pack or crushed up ice. You can lay down on it for about 15 to 20 minutes. I know that's not really comfortable, but that's going to be one of the best ways to reduce that inflammation. And because we tend to get stiff whenever we are icing something, you know, those muscles contract, we want to stretch through this as we ice. We'll go into more of that in a moment, how we can stretch specifically while we're icing, but those are 3 ways that we can reduce inflammation. Number 2, we can make sure that we're in proper alignment. So one of the best ways to alleviate our back pain is to make sure that all those vertebrae are right where they should be, and you can do this by going to a chiropractor who will adjust you. If you're not used to going to a chiropractor, highly recommend that you do some research. As some people, they hear the word chiropractor and they're like, oh no, it's all the pops and cracks. But don't worry, there's chiropractors out there that do not just, you know, you see all those videos with neck cracking and everything. Don't worry, there's chiropractors out there that don't do all the popping and the cracking, but they more so manipulate muscles. So I highly recommend finding a chiropractor that does that sort of adjustment for you if that's something that you're interested in. And also, speaking back to making sure that we're in proper alignment, one of the best ways that we can just stretch out the spine, stretch out our muscles, even before we get up out of bed, is to stretch in bed by pulling our knees up to our chest and just relaxing. You know, we've been asleep, we've been down flat, our spine is not having to fight against gravity here. That's why you're actually like taller in the beginning of the day than you are at the end of the day, because you're not fighting against gravity. There's not that pressure on your spine. So just take a few minutes to stretch out your spine in bed. That a lot of times can help us be properly aligned before we start our day. Alright, the third way that we can reduce our lower back pain from home is to make sure that we're being mobile and staying flexible through stretching. So not just stretching out our back, but also stretching our hips, our hamstrings, all of things, a lot of things to stretch, just to make sure that we're staying mobile, because whenever we're tight, when we're not flexible, some muscles will take over, and then it's just tight, and no one wants to be tight, right? We want to just feel relaxed. And so I'm going to show you a few exercises or stretches that you can do that may help with your back pain. You can do this every day, morning, afternoon, night, whenever you want to. I highly recommend stretching a couple times throughout the day because a lot of us are sitting throughout the day, and that is not great for our back either, because by sitting we're increasing our spinal pressure by 11 times. So if you can, this is not necessarily a specific number, but as much as you can, you need to get up, maybe take a few steps, walk around your office, your classroom, wherever you're at, just to relieve that spinal pressure if you can. So here's a couple stretches you can do. Let's cut to it. Alright, so one of the first stretches we're going to do is a cat-cow. We're going to start by inhaling, dropping the belly, and then exhale, we're going to round through the spine, pressing away from the floor, away from our mat. Just going back and forth here, working on our spinal flexion, pressing up and out of our shoulders. Inhale, dropping the belly, and then exhale, rounding through. Alright, our next stretch we're going to go into an extended child's pose. So we're going to start by bringing our big toes together, stepping our knees out as wide as our mat, and then sending our hips down towards our glutes, just allowing our breath to take us deeper into this stretch. So these next set of stretches is where you can add an ice pack if you want. We're going to hug our knees to our chest, maybe finding some movement if it feels good for your back. And then we're going to rock your pelvis up, lifting your hips up just a little bit off the mat, just finding that mobility, that flexibility in the lower back. And then we're going to take it to singles. We're going to hug one knee up at a time, just breathing into that hip, and then switching over to the other side, taking it back and forth nice and slow, feeling that nice big stretch. Alright, now we're going to focus on our hip flexors and our hamstrings. So we're going to come into a kneeling position, tucking our hips under here, making sure that our knee stays behind our toes, just feeling this nice stretch in our hip flexors in the front of the leg. And then we're going to send our hips back, flexing our toes up towards our face to target that hamstring, the back of the knee here, just breathing deep. And then we're going to take it to the other side, again going into that kneeling lunge, tucking our hips under, breathing into our hip flexors here. And then eventually we're going to send our hips back, flexing through that foot to stretch out our hamstrings. Alright, the fourth way that we can reduce lower back pain at home is to make sure that we have our proper posture. So that doesn't just go for sitting, that's also standing and sleeping. We're going to go through specifically how to make sure that we're in our proper alignment. But just from sitting, a lot of times, we're sitting at work, at desk, wherever you're at, and our shoulders are forward, our core is relaxed, we're just kind of slumped over. So we want to make sure that our shoulders are down and back, our chest is open, our belly button is to our spine, we're lifted up tall. And sometimes if you find yourself throughout the day slumping over, that's just a great reminder, oh, I need to sit up. They also have posture braces if you need help with that throughout your day. But we're going to talk about how we can check our posture when we're standing and when we're sleeping. So to check your posture at home, you can stand against a wall. You want to make sure that your heels, calves, glutes, the back of your shoulders, and your head are comfortably against the wall. Otherwise, you might have a posture deviation such as rounded shoulders or an arched back. Another posture deviation is scoliosis, where your spine is curved, and you may have one shoulder that sits higher than the other. When we're standing, we want to have soft knees, an engaged core, and keep our shoulders down and back. So we want to avoid sleeping on our stomach because it exaggerates the curve at the bottom of our spine. A better option is to sleep on our back with our knees on top of a pillow just to keep our back flat. If you're a side sleeper, you can sleep with a pillow between your knees to keep your hips level, and of course you want a pillow under your head to support your neck. You can also put a pillow under your waist to keep your spine flat. A lot of times when we're tired from a long day, we come and sit on the couch like this, or this, or this. But that can make our back pain so much worse because we're usually sitting down all day anyway, and so it's just creating extra pressure on our spine, and we're probably not having the best posture. So a better option is to lay flat on the floor with our feet elevated on a chair or the wall to relieve spinal pressure. And for all you mamas or dads out there that have little ones, it's best to periodically switch sides whenever you're holding them to even out that spinal pressure. We don't have kids yet, so Tex was our little volunteer. The fifth way that we can reduce lower back pain from home is making sure that we have a strong core. So that includes our back muscles and our abdominals. If we don't have a strong core, either our abdominals will overcompensate or our back will overcompensate because those core muscles are what keeps us standing, what keeps us properly aligned. So just take a few minutes every day or a couple times a week to focus in on your core, to strengthen the back, to strengthen the abdominals. That's one of the reasons that we focus on core in every single workout at Living Lightly, because we use our core all the time. So if you are interested in strengthening your core and getting a great workout in, you can message me down below. Check out Living Lightly. We'd love to have you there. I'd love to see you at our workouts. Until then, I hope these tips were helpful for you. If they were, leave me a comment down below. And also, if you have any other topics or things that you would like to know more about, comment it down below. I'd love to do the research for it. That's what I love to nerd out about. So yeah, I'll see you back here next time, and remember to keep living lightly.